Hi, I'm Jackie Martling, and you're watching Las Vegas BackstageTalk.com. And I'm doing this show so I can promote stuff, especially my Twitter account. If you want a free joke every day at 4:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is International Pot Smoking Time, Twitter me at JMarlow, JMarlow, at JMarlow. Every day, a free joke. Sometimes it's dirty, sometimes it's not so dirty, but it's always funny. Las Vegas BackstageTalk.com. Stay there.
Like, since you brought up your mother, and I was going to
I don't want to talk about my mother. I want to talk about one thing. The only reason I'm here is to promote my Twitter account.
Oh, you're horrible.
Because
you're horrible. You're shameless.
Sending out, no, I just want to get this in, at JMarlow. You get a dirty joke every day at 4:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, at JMarlow, at JMarlow. Now you can ask me anything you want. That's the only thing I really, really wanted to get in.
Are you done now?
I am so done.
Thank you.
Go ahead with your show here.
I want to hear about your mother. So, you know what?
My mother was the funniest person in the world.
Was she?
Everybody in my family was funnier than me. My father, my mother, my brothers, my sister. I was the least funny person, and I guess I was the guy who tried harder. I was the oldest kid, but my mother said such funny things. When I was like 3 years old, if I had my zipper open, my mother used to point and go, "Hey, it's ever ready Eddie."
No, she didn't.
I swear
know that's a joke. That has to be
That is not a joke. I mean, it was a joke, but my mother used to say it. And one thing my old manager, Rory Rosegarden, loved, he still saved the email, is one of my mother's most favorite expressions, because we didn't have a pot to pee in when I was a kid. And one of her favorite expressions was, if we had some ham, we could have ham and eggs if we had some eggs, which I always thought was great.
Oh, my, I got to say.
And one time, a girl who did such incredible caricatures of Bob Nelson and Rob Bartlett, Eddie Murphy,
gosh, my buddies.
All these people, all the people I started with, Richie Minervini, Jim
Richie.
Myers, Bob Woods, all these guys.
Bobby Woods.
There was this girl that drew these incredible caricatures of us. So we had these really, it looked like we had Don Martin doing artwork for us when we were just starting out. And these cartoons were everywhere. And the girl was not attractive. And she came in one time to my house and met my mother, and then she walked out, and my mother goes, "Who was that?" And I said, "Ma, she's an artist." And my mother said, "What's she draw, flies?"
Oh, man.
So yes, but my mother was funny. My mother was very, Dot Martling. Everybody loved her. She was great.
Jackie, you are a sick puppy. You know, we go back.
I'm a wonderful person. Very long.
How long do we go back? Richie Minervini days, East Side Comedy Club days.
1980, 1981, way back. Good old days.
And it's amazing because I wasn't born then.
You know,
so I think it's interesting.
I'm working at Brad Garrett's Comedy Club at the MGM Grand, and the manager of the club was the manager of the Purple Onion, which was a bar on Long Island in 1979. Him and Rick Messina, who now he manages Tim Allen and all these people, and he's a gazillionaire producer.
I worked for Rick Messina. Who didn't work for Rick Messina?
Tony Camacho, who has a tongue this big, Tony the Tongue Camacho, is the manager of Brad Garrett's, and so everything comes full circle.
Okay, I just want to make it clear, I did work for Tony Camacho, but I know nothing about how big his tongue is. I just want to make that clear.
It's kind of weird that I know. No, it's always his claim to fame.
Yes.
Whenever you introduce people to Tony, you say, "This is Tony the Tongue. Show him, Tony," and he takes his hamburger out of his mouth.
Isn't that amazing how I could know him as a booker and not know that information? Now I know why
you are lying. You should not lie. I love this. You're a nice person.
You're
a nice person. I want to know how come an Asian, I don't know what the proper politically correct the way of saying chink is, but how an Asian woman sounds like a 95-year-old Jewish grandmother, I will never know. I will never know.
What your name should be?
Your name should be Sha Ping.
Shopping. You know what? My husband would agree. They think you're the sweetest man for the filthiest comic they ever met in their life.
And I take that as a high compliment. People say you're such a nice guy and you're so gentle. And yeah, I tell filthy jokes on stage, but that's like Bozo doesn't go out during the day wearing big shoes and a big, afro. I mean, that's a stage act, and in real life, I mean, I'm naughty, but I'm fun and I'm polite,
How long have you been this naughty?
When I was in 3rd grade, I was sitting on the floor of Roy Mitchell's house with about 6 or 7 other guys. I was from a very small town, so there's guys of all different ages. 1st graders, 3rd graders, 5th graders. We're all sitting there freezing because we just had a snowball fight. In those days, there was no such thing as a dryer, so you take off your clothes and put them in and warm them up. I mean, you sat there and froze until your clothes dried out. And my cousin was in 8th grade.
I wasn't born then, just so you know.
My cousin, I'm in 3rd grade. It's like 1955. My cousin Peter walks in the door. I remember this like it was yesterday. Takes out a piece of paper and reads a parody of The Night Before Christmas. It was the night before Christmas when all through the house, everybody in the family was drunk as a louse. Grandma and Grandpa were singing a song, and the boy in the bed was beating the hell out of his dog. And it was the whole thing. And I remember looking around, because when I finally make my movie, I'm going to have all the kids sitting on the floor, and then it's going to pan back to me, but it's going to be me now, you know. And all these guys were like mesmerized. He was saying this dirty poem, and they were laughing, and they were mesmerized, and all I can remember in my mind, and I don't know how I would have said cool to myself in 3rd grade in 55, but I remember saying to myself, that's cool. And I remembered every joke I've heard since that day. When I was a kid, when everybody else was sending them for this kind of book and that kind of book, you know, when they come around and give you the list in school, joke books, joke books, joke books. Remember every joke, clean, dirty, whatever you can possibly think of. That's all I know. I don't know anything else but, and the reason I tell dirty jokes isn't because I especially am a dirty guy. If I tell you a joke or tell you a dirty joke.
I kind of think you're a dirty guy.
No,
not for nothing.
The dirty,
gotta say.
every guy's dirty.
Jackie Martling.
No, but a dirty joke elicits a
like
much bigger response. If I tell you a joke, I want to make you laugh. That's the only reason I'm doing is to make you laugh.
And the second half of...
I have to tell a joke. I've not told one joke.
No, you can't tell a joke
I can tell you a joke.
Okay, go.
The wife says, get out!
Control
the wife says, get out! Get the hell out! Get out! And as her husband's walking out the door, she says, I hope you die a slow, painful death. And he turns around and says, so now you want me to stay?
Oh, that's
the greatest joke.
Okay, so now you were head writer for Howard Stern for 15 years.
15. I worked for free from 83 to 86, 1 day a week, slowly passed some notes and roping myself a job. And then when he went to mornings in 1986, I joined the show for 2 days a week, and then it went to 3, 4, and within a couple of months I was there 5 days a week and became the head writer, and we went to Pluto. We went from New York to New York, Philly, Washington, then Los Angeles, and then by the time I left, I think we were somewhere around 60 affiliates, and it was so much fun. It was just every second of every show was so much fun.
So how different was Howard before he was in therapy than after he was in therapy? You have to tell. Inquiring minds want to know.
He's always been the same guy.
Come on.
You don't see a
Therapy
difference.
changes people.
No.
Like he seems so concerned now with everybody's feelings.
I don't listen to the show, so I don't know.
You don't listen to the show.
But you know what?
But you're still on the show sometimes.
I think you get older. I mean, I care more about people's feelings now. You just do. As you get older, you get more compassionate. You think about dying. You think about life. You think about, you think about your parents. I got a friend who was going to come out to Las Vegas. Toby Ludwig was supposed to come out to Las Vegas. He's a very popular booking agent, a really good guy.
Yes.
And he called me,
yes.
And he said, Jackie, I'm not coming because I just heard that my father's not doing well, and he actually did a U-turn and went to visit his father in Pennsylvania. He said, you know what? He said, you said something to me that's gone over in my mind 1,000 times. And I said it to him. He said, geez, I don't know whether I should get in the car and go visit my father. And I said, Toby, I would give anything for 10 more minutes with my father. If you have a chance to go see your father, you get in the car and go.
Wow.
And he said, he never thinks twice about now. I just got the chills. Now, that's the kind of thought that probably never would have gone through my mind 20 years ago. 20 years ago, 30 years ago, it was like, how do I get away from my father?
Exactly. Have you been in therapy?
Only since this interview.
Well, then I've done a good thing for humankind.
But that was sincere. It was from my heart. I was telling the truth. I said, you want somebody's opinion? If you want my opinion, ask.
So are you saying that you don't notice a severe
one thing
difference?
I left out, I did have a romantic relationship with Toby's father. I didn't tell you.
Me too. Okay, but that's another story.
And the minute I either walk into that room or I'm on the phone with Howard, Robin, and Fred, it immediately goes back to the show that we did for 15 years. I mean, the pieces of the puzzle, I swear to God, and people tell me this, people tell me they can hear, when they tune into the show, if they don't even hear me, they used to know when I was there or know when I wasn't there, just by there's a little lilt in Howard's voice and everything.
We got
and
that.
we would click right in. And the truth of it is, I would never know if he's in therapy or not in therapy, because they right away go to breaking my chops and having fun, and it's the old show, which I love. You know, he can't. So there's no sensitivity when it comes to me. But when I see,
he's different off stage.
But when I see him at the Christmas party, I'll see him in a couple of weeks. He's so nice and polite and sweet, and Beth, his wife, is so nice, and they love my girlfriend. But he's always been like that.
Yeah, he used to talk about banging your wife.
Same guy. He is the same guy that we're talking about. That when you see him in person, he doesn't have on his bozo wig and his big shoes and his big red nose, because he's a person. Only with his act, it's so much more subtle. He's just a guy talking on the radio. You think, oh, that's the person, but that's as much of an act as putting on a wig or what. You know, he's a nice guy.
You know what, Jackie the Joke Man Martling, we got so many responses about this. You made Howard Stern laugh. You made and people.
You know what?
That.
You're a comedian. There are people. I could tell you, there are certain people. You just have their funny bone. I have so many people that I know that when I look at them, I can get that, because they know that I can't. It's you know, I don't want to sound like an idiot.
What's his funny
bone?
No,
it's not a thing. It's just like a chemistry. When I see somebody, I know I can make him laugh. Like that guy told me I was just talking about. I can make him laugh. And I sat next to Howard for 15 years, and he just knew, if he looked over, he just knew that we were just having fun. Every time I wrote him a note, he was going to enjoy it, whether he used it or not. And I just had his funny bone. But it's just organic. That's why they like. The first day I went in there, it was Howard and Fred and Robin. When I first walked into the show in 1983, I sat down. At the end of the show, he said, "Man, you're fun. Come back again next week," because we had instant chemistry, and it never changed. And it was just one of those things that just worked. And I don't know why I have this funny bone, but I don't think you would ever deny I have this funny bone.
No, not at all. But any second.
At J Marlowe, JMarlow, at J Marlowe, and tune into Jackie's Joke on Sirius Satellite Radio, Howard 101. Tuesdays, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you like dirty jokes, it's the funniest show on radio. If you don't like dirty jokes, it's
terrible. Thank you.
I love you.
And we're out of here. Thank you, Jackie. I love you.
Thank you.
You're the best. Thank you.